stream last night, and the very way I'm streaming now, I thought I lost a cable, and apparently there's a full HDMI port on my Sony a7 IV.
Come over just a little bit to your
thank you.
in frame.
Thank you. And that just blew my mind. Like, I've had this camera for a year and I didn't know that, and I need that port. So that's cool. No Face says, I was so tempted to move to Sony about the same time, but no, I'm deep in Canon glass, so there's no way I could afford it. Yeah. And glass is, yeah. Glass is my least favorite part of photography. Maybe my most. Maybe once I can afford some good glass that actually like makes a difference, maybe I'll like it more. But
everyone says you invest in the glass, not in the body.
Yes. Which is half true for me, because the body does video and other things. I wanted to do as many things as I can so that it's a multi-tool, so that I can do multiple things. But
which is true.
That's fair, and it's rightly applied in photography, I think.
But like my 24mm 1.4G Master, I bought when I had the Sony a7 III.
Yeah.
I've since graduated to a better body, but the lens is still just as excellent.
Yeah.
And, you know, presumably in another 5-6 years, if I graduate to the next body, that lens is still going to be just as excellent.
Right. True. That is a good point.
And that's why you end up, you know, not necessarily trapped in Canon, but, you know, in the ecosystem, as they say, because you've put that money into the glass, and the glass is going to last you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get there. I'm now in a position where I can comfortably do that more.
And you know, you make your decision on where you want to put your money. You have those two excellent battery systems.
Yes.
That are, you know, roughly the cost of a lens.
True.
So
true.
You decide where you're going to put your money.
Yeah, and I did consider that. I almost got a prime lens and then an A7 III, but I decided to just go for the 4 and call it even. Use the lens, the was it 24 to 50 or 30 to 50, 2.8 lens.
And the R4 will last you longer than the 3 would have. You know, it will stay technically more relevant for longer.
I would love to have a medium format camera. I have no use for one, but I think it would be fun. I'm going to do my best to ignore a work meeting and listen to this, but they'll ask me to contribute at some point. Okay, thanks, Snowface, no problem. Let me just check back. No Face was commenting on the earlier conversation about freedom. I've done both. I can definitely say I prefer stability over freedom.
There's this line in The Matrix that I keep quoting in relevance to my van trip, where people are asking me, how can you afford this?
Yeah.
And there's a line where the architect, I'm such a nerd.
You think that's air you're breathing? No, sorry.
There's a line that the architect says, there are certain minimums we're willing to accept.
Yes.
And that's kind of where I'm
That's
at.
A great quote.
It's a very relevant one.
Yes.
You know, I'm in a van. I've got a small fridge. I've got a small burner. I'm limited by my power consumption.
So there's some downsides.
And my spending in particular. I've been saving up for this for a long time, but I have to watch my spending. So yeah, you know, I'm sacrificing a little bit of stability for maybe not necessarily freedom isn't how I look at it, but adventure and experience.
Yeah.
And I'll say, you know, I've got a couple of years on you, so.
True. That is no excuse. That's what I tell myself, but it is a indefatigable truth.
I mean, certainly I get a lot of people who are saying to me, and oh, I wish I could do that. And some of it is genuine, and some of it is kind of like the call of the void. I've given this a lot of thought, and originally when I was thinking about van life, the appeal of it was running away.
Yeah.
And when I actually left, the appeal of it was running towards. You know, I wanted to run away from unhappiness or unsatisfaction with my job or my social life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found happiness and contentment in that. And now I'm running towards experiences and
Yes.
adventure. And it's a much, much healthier place to be.
I'm about at the point in my life where I need to integrate that at some level for sure. Hence why, you know, literally planned to do this 48 hours ago and threw everything in my truck, came out here and met you. So
Right on.
I'll have to think about that. I'm gonna road trip to Texas for sure. I've got a bunch of recommendations from you. Moab was highly recommended
By me.
for astrophotography and its general experience. What else is there to do around Moab?
Hiking. I mean, it's mostly a lot of photography, a lot of hiking. At the beginning of the pandemic, I had originally planned like a week-long trip out there. I was going to fly out, do some hiking in Arches,
Yeah.
and then fly home. And then the pandemic happened, and I ended up working remotely. And I was like, I can work remotely from anywhere. And I rented a place in Moab and then lived there for 2 months and worked. And I'm on East Coast time.
Yeah.
So I worked a half a day every day for 2 months. I had a full half day of work and a full half day of vacation. And I went and I hiked and I got to explore more than I would have. Really, the way I timed it was I got 3 full night cycles for astrophotography. One right when I got there, one in the middle, and then one right before I left, as far as like moon cycles.
Dang. I could technically do that. And I might have to. There's like, I don't know. I got to work on my ADHD. There's so many things, and not to like overshare or anything, but like, it's such a mind fuck when you learn that. Yeah, I think it's.
That looks really good. They're bacon-filled pancakes.
Yes, bacon pancakes.
Bacon eggs?
Bacon eggs.
Nah, that doesn't really work.
Pankin? That's probably good enough for lunch. Do you have dietary preferences or restrictions?
I do not.
Oh, okay. Would you like a pancake?
Am I taking away from your lunch?
No, I've got more mix.
Then I will gladly take one.
Sure. Okay.
I'm not so indelicate as to avoid eating on camera. And I was actually headed out to go find some lunch, so I do appreciate it.
Well, I don't know if this will work.
I mean, if you have a napkin, I'll just eat with my hands.
I do have a napkin.
I live in a van. I'm not.
That's true.
In ceremony.
I'm only on ceremony as much as everybody else needs me to be.
And so I wanted to mention this because you said you're very open about your mental health journey. And this isn't a like a comparison or anything. It's more of, you know, hey, here's an example of making it happen.
Sure.
I developed and was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis about 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And so thank you so much.
Absolutely.
So that's something that like I work through, and the flare-ups are well managed, but
Rheumatoid arthritis.
the fatigue actually hits me pretty hard more often than flare-ups. Arthritis is joint pain.
Right.
Osteoarthritis is like wearing away the
lining,
the mechanics of it.
Right.
Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder where your own body attacks itself.
How is that going?
It's good. The fatigue is the thing that really hits me the most. So like last night around midnight when I said, all right, I'm ready to turn in.
Yeah.
that's sort of the end of my useful period. That's my use by date.
Right.
So the fact that I then rallied and stayed up until 4 a.m.
and got that bomb-ass shot, which is on his Instagram, of a fireball Mount Rainier. But you rallied.
I'm always kind of surprised when I can pull that off, but then I'll pay for it for the next couple of days.
Oh yeah, you know, that sounds familiar. I know people, close people with chronic pain. You know, like
and that's kind of what it is. It's this sort of low-level underlying, you know, the pain version of like tinnitus. If you've got this ringing in your ears,
you just can't. It doesn't go away.
You just kind of like forget about it after a while.
And there's an amount of tuning out you can do, but sometimes on bad days, it's just there and in your life, in the back of your brain.
And it's one of those things that people don't see, like mental health.
Yes.
You know, nobody sees pain masking or, you know, mental health masking where you just put on a face and go about your day.
Yes. Yeah, nobody wants to actually hear, and I say this with a bit of cynicism because it's kind of how it comes across, even though people around you may not actually feel this way, but nobody wants to hear you complain or voice the pain and hurt, especially when they can't help. And so it just becomes a rag on everybody. You know, at least that's how my dad explained it to me. He just has to shut up and deal with it, which I think there's a balance. You know, I definitely want to help alleviate as much as I can with my dad or like validate his pain.
And I think that that's the main difference is you can't necessarily help. And that's what people kind of want to do by default.
Yeah.
But I think just understanding and validating is really the best thing. Say, you know, I understand that you are struggling right now. If there's anything that I can do, let me know. Otherwise, I recognize that you're doing this and you don't have to mask around me.
Right. Right.
These are excellent pancakes, by the way.
Oh, good. I, from a good friend, found out that apparently low pressure, like barometric pressure, enhances pancake taste. I don't know where or how they learned that, but we were making pancakes at the time. They were the best pancakes I had ever had, and I'm hoping these come close.
Any other questions from the...
Lighting and lenses have always cost way more than my bodies. Yeah. Unfortunately, the stream has been cutting in and out because network conditions. Oh, I think my camera overheated. We got a backup camera if I can't get this one working. Let's reboot.
I'm gonna take this opportunity to go get my Gatorade.
Sure, go for it.
This is fun, I'm enjoying this.
Absolutely.
Thanks for letting me join you.
Absolutely. Let me grab the mic in case you can't come back for some reason. Cool, thanks. It's here for you though, if you do. Camera, too hot. Hi, I am making mountain bacon pancakes. Yep, we gotta. This is a live stream, by the way. It's hot mics. So.
Hi there. Just passing by.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kills the cats.
Okay.
Computer works.
Let's.
Yeah, you're an influencer.
I don't. Well, if I am, I want to be a good influencer. I don't think of myself that way. I'm just someone who's sharing my life with people and sharing in theirs.
Nice.
How about sharing your pancakes?
If you want to stick around, you can have one. Thanks, you too. Gosh, I might actually have to make more pancakes. So I'm over here now. You know what? Let's actually move. Let's move you guys to where the overheated camera is. Let's give them a rest. Oh, now it looks like I'm standing in the middle of the road. That is not happening. Let's bring you guys down. Nope. Now you guys see. Okay, there we go. This should be better. It's a shittier camera, but yeah.
I brought back strawberries to
Oh,
share
hell yeah.
that I got from a farmer's market.
Trade you for a sec. Thank you. Wow. That's actually good. You know what?
Napkin?
I think I finally need to grab a trash bag. So let's do that.
So I'll talk a little bit more about van life, kind
Sure.
of how I got here.
Sure. Thank you.
I'm only responsible in life for myself at
Yeah.
the moment. You know, a lot of people that have talked to me about this are like, I wish I could do it, but I've got kids, I've got a spouse, I've got parents I have to take care of. And
those are
I just have myself. But I was working the whole corporate 9 to 5,
yeah.
corporate wage slave for a long time. And I'm like, what am I really saving for? You know, I'm saving what I'm going to save my whole life and then end up old and not able to do anything with it. It's like, I want to, since the RA came on, and that wasn't really the impetus for it, but
All right. Return to office.
no, rheumatoid arthritis.
Oh, right.
Since that came on, I'm like, you know, my health can change with the wind.
What do I have left in terms of?
Yeah, and that wasn't really the driving factor, because I've wanted to do this for a long time, but it was a piece of the pie.
Absolutely.
You know, do I want to just sit on a big pile of money, or do I want to, you know, live?
Thanks. Let's throw that in here, and I'll open that up so we can just toss whatever we want. There we go. That is, when I was just out of college, I found this concept called financial independence, retire early, FIRE. And I was super into it, and I was like making steps to actually do it. And I didn't know I had ADHD at the time, so like literally I was just wasting life energy that didn't give me anything until like 30 years later or whatever. Well, thank you. But I kind of made the same decision. I was like, either I can live a life that is regimented, restricted, overly zealous about scrimping and saving, squirreling away, or I can enjoy the experiences I have now. And there is like an element of foolishness, like, oh, well, if I'm not worrying about tomorrow and retirement or whatever as much, like, you know, what are you throwing away? But what am I throwing away now? And even though, you know, I have other things that have caused me to like dig into work, you know, heavily, I came to the same conclusion. Like, life is worth living. There's so much fun and new things and crazy situation scenarios and friendships to be had. Like, why put that off and throw that away?
One of the ways that I frame that, especially for some of my friends who are reaching like milestone birthdays and they're like, oh my God, you know, I'm over the hill or whatever. The way that I've framed it is, think about everything, and this is for anyone watching, this is for you.
Yeah.
Think about everything that you've seen and done in the last 10 years. Just just 10 years, all the people you've met, all the experiences you've had, all of the things that you've learned and seen and done,
Yeah.
it's enormous, right?
Yes.
How many, that's what you have to look forward to for the next 10 years.
And the next.
And the next, and you have that to build on too.
Yeah.
So there's so much life left to live.
And that is, I think, honestly, like one of the things. And I'm obviously not super old. I'm in my mid-30s, but I'm not super old. But if I were to tell people coming out of college, I have like a lot of Gen Z friends. I game online all the time. That's what I normally stream. Like living life right is not making money. Money is a tool, and it gets you things. It gets you opportunities, but they're not the only ways to get opportunities. You living and interacting and experiencing things is technically detached from that. Now, there's a base survival level of needs that need to be met. And so there's an amount you have to tend to it, as if you were brushing your teeth.
Hey, my twin.
Oh, wow. I might have thought that was you earlier.
So there's a certain base amount.
Yes, a certain base amount of needs that need to be met, so you need to tend to it. And, maybe there's a goal that you have that you want to meet and that money helps. Like success or the end goal being the money. And the lifestyle, level of lifestyle, like that gets a little gray because it's like you have to make a certain amount of money to reach a certain level of life. If you want to go to Lululemon and like freaking, not Burning Man, what's the other super LA expensive rich people outdoor festival?
One of the music festivals?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, like wear Gucci bags or whatever. Like, sure. If that's like legitimately your goal and that's what you want, and it's for you and not for you to look in front of others, because that's for them, not for you, then go for it. Go devote your life to work and make that money and hit that grind, whatever. That's fine. But don't mistake it for the end goal. Money is not the goal. Money is the
tool, the means.
Is the means, yes.
And it's, what you're talking about is very much the boomer Gen X mindset versus the millennial, experiences over things.
Yeah.
And I think I'm an outlier because I'm very solidly Gen X.
Oh, yeah?
And I've valued experiences over things for a long time. I think I'm all right for now.
Okay.
But thank you. I'm gonna use your comments as a segue for a way that I've been sort of framing it.
Okay.
Which is another nerd reference because that's my bread and butter.
Okay.
Fantasy, Lord of the Rings or D&D or whatever.
Sure.
Dragons.
Yes.
Dragons sit on a giant pile of gold, right? And they accumulate gold and they hoard it, and the pile gets bigger and bigger. What does a dragon do with gold? Does he go down and get Gucci bags or, buy an all-expense paid trip to Paris? It's, it's just a dragon sitting on a big pile of gold.
Yeah.
And that's what I was starting to feel like saving for my retirement.
Right.
Is I was checking my 401k and I'm checking my Fidelity account and I'm looking at my savings and I'm seeing this giant pile of gold growing. It's not a giant pile and it's not growing all that much, but I'm looking at this and thinking that this is my measure for success. Until I realized I'm just a fucking dragon sitting on a pile of gold, and what am I even doing with this?
Yeah.
And that's
also, hi Chew Donkey. Sorry, one sec. Hey Chew Donkey, new skill tree unlock, high altitude pancake business, and the philosophy of size of pancakes, and more philosophy comments. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not a dragon. You need a certain amount, to live. If you have family or responsibilities, you want to be responsible and be able to help take care of them or leave something for them. you know, plan for your own future so that you're not, you know, left destitute. But aside from that, you know, what do I need this for other than what, a measure of stature or a measure of my own success?
Yeah. Yeah. And this is with the caveat that, like, fully understanding, we're talking about when your basic needs are met and the pursuit of money beyond that. If your basic needs aren't met and you're struggling, like, that's valid. And it's not like you are being greedy for, like, trying to survive. Just a clarification. But if you're in that situation, I hope things turn up for you, and keep trying. It gets better.
And you're not being greedy for wanting to have something nice, something good, something comfortable. You know, if you want to go out and treat yourself to something, if you want to have a good experience, that's not being greedy and that's not being irresponsible. That's, you know, trying to live a life beyond just scraping by.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we don't have to spend much more time on the disclaimer that I'm giving, because I just want to make sure that if you're listening to this and you're like 22 with a retail job and it fucking sucks and your supervisor's a douchebag and they're trying to get you fired for some stupid reason because they felt weird when you were yourself.
Because
like,
they're 25 and they haven't figured their shit out either.
Right, like they don't actually have their shit together. You should know that, by the way. Like we're not talking as if, like, oh, there's this world that you don't need money to be happy, and it's like, no, you need money to meet your needs. So good luck meeting your needs. I hope you can. Shit, there was a part of the disclaimer I wanted to say. I think it's gone.
It'll come back.
I'll let it go. If it comes back, I don't know what I'll do. But,
I'll drop another Aaron nugget of wisdom about having your shit together. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever has their shit together. The people that you're looking at who look like, oh my God, they've got their shit together, they just have the shit together that you're currently struggling with, so it looks like they're doing well. They've got all new shit that they're trying to figure out. They've just moved on to the next level. Yeah. Nobody ever has their shit together.
I think, and this is me being kind of not, crap, what's the adversary? Devil's advocate. Mm-hmm. This is me being a little bit of devil's advocate, but just because I kind of push scientific thinking all the time. It's a bell curve, right? Most people do not have their shit together. Some people do, and they can be amazing. Like I know some people that know who they are, they know what they want, they know how to do what they need to do, and if they don't, they know how to get it. And it's inspiring and crazy. And it helps, like, in their situation that they're in their leadership. It's like good to look to them, you know, as long as you don't idolize them or think they're not human so they don't have flaws and other things. Like, some people, I guess it depends on what getting your shit together means. The assumption as a person who does not have their shit together is always just everything is good. Like, when you have your shit together, you know what to do. There's no problems. You're never feeling uncertain. You're never feeling negative or downtrodden or, like, hopeless. Like, everybody feels that. And so, like, what does having your shit together mean? It means, like, being able to respond in a productive way or in... Actually, I don't know if I want to pull this out of my ass, but, like...
I think having your...
There's nuance to it, is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I think not having your shit together means that you are struggling with something. And just to use your example of, like, someone, you know, having their stuff together with their career and looking like they know where they're going next and they've got their money handled, you know, maybe... their parent is coming down with Alzheimer's and they don't quite know what to do with that or how to interact with them. Or maybe they've got, like, a teenager that they're struggling to connect with. There's always something that people are struggling with where they really just don't know what they're doing and I think that's where they're going next.
That's the conceit of nobody has their shit together. It's that everybody goes through the same challenges or, you know, their own set of challenges.
They're dealing with different challenges than you are, And so it can appear that they've got their shit together.
But they may be struggling in an entirely different way that you can't see.
And this comes back to the whole silent struggle that we were talking about before.
Yes. Yeah.
So anything we want to talk about with photography?
Yes, but I'm going to comment. These, I was waiting, I was trying to wait to like take my first bite because this is over a year in coming.
Oh, wow.
I just never got around to it. Somebody on stream, No Face redeemed it on stream a year ago, and I never did it because of reasons. But this is really fucking good. This
They absolutely were.
it's so good. I don't like. I've made pancakes at sea level with that mix, and it's I don't know. Like it's probably partially the bake. I'm gonna have to make this again. Maybe I'll do another bacon pancake stream at home. But it's really good.
I have pancake mix in my van. I'm gonna have to try that out soon.
Yeah.
I've been putting off making it.
Yeah.
So thanks for the tip.
Well, if you would like some bacon, I'm probably not gonna be able to use this. So
I'll keep it in mind.
sure,
My pancakes, I tend to put blueberries in.
that's a good choice. By the way, your strawberries are freaking delicious. I actually don't like strawberries. It's because, in general, it's because I can never find strawberries that are good. They're always sour. They're always like less tasteful. This like hits the spot in that fresh fruit, like gotta have another kind of way. So thank you, I appreciate that.
I got these at a farmer's market in Revelstoke, British Columbia.
Oh, nice.
One of those, you know, figure it out as I go things. I was like, hey, I need some place to sleep for the night. Stopped in Revelstoke, saw signs for the farmer's market the next morning, hung out, went to the farmer's market, and they were grown fresh locally and like picked within a couple of days and brought to market. And I was like, all right, those are worth having.
Yeah.
And one of the nice things about the road is when you meet people, being able to share. Like you're sharing your breakfast, you're sharing your stream with me, and in turn, you know, I get to share something back.
Well, thank you.
And it's not quid pro quo. It's not like you shared something with me, so I have to.
Mm-hmm.
It's this spirit of giving and wanting to share.
Yeah, the togetherness, building the experience together. That made me a little emotional. That's so cool. So, when you're not taking photography, like taking, taking pictures, thank you, couldn't think of the word. When you're not taking pictures and you're not driving to the ass crack of the world and you're not sleeping in your sweet van that has a sweet lithium battery that I wish I had.
It's a sweet SWEET, but also, SUITE.
Yes. Yes. Premium mobile suite.
Yes. So when I'm not doing that, what's the question?
What do you like to do?
Well, there's like, and then there's have to. When I'm not doing all that, I'm doing laundry. I'm always fucking doing laundry. But what do I like to do? As has come up, I'm a big nerd.
That's right.
A friend just shared her Paramount Plus with me yesterday, and I stopped into a Panera specifically so I could download episodes of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which is the best.
That's the animated one, right?
No, the animated one is Lower Decks, which is also excellent. But Strange New Worlds, if you're a Trek fan and you haven't watched it yet, best Trek in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Hands down.
So I'm a person that doesn't like disappointment, so I manage my expectations. Star Wars.
Okay.
Disney bought it. Threw away the expanded universe. Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars anymore to me. I have old Star Wars still. I'm fine with that. You know, it kind of stinks, but a lot of people are like, oh, you guys should come watch this show. It's amazing. And I start the like Mandalorian. It's completely overrated. I don't know if you're into Star Wars, but
I am.
Completely overrated in my opinion. It reeked of Disney dialogue and writing.
And fan service?
And fan service. And so it looked like they were like nodding and like raising their eyebrows to us the whole time. And I just couldn't get over that because I love Star Wars for the world and the characters and how they interact with the fabric of that universe, with the Force, and like there's things other than the Force, and there's sci-fi, and you can go anywhere. It's a space opera, and it's great. So with that in mind, Star Trek, same thing. Love the old Star Treks. TNG's my favorite. That's just how I grew up.
Sure.
And Deep Space Nine, I am like being heavily influenced by friends to like. But when I saw the new stuff, and I actually made the mistake of like watching a video on Picard and like an analysis of it, and it's like this ain't it, guys. Like this, everything they're doing, like I feel, and I can sum up everything that I'm about, could say by saying the new Star Trek has lost the utopian vision that I appreciated about Star Trek. It was, we don't have this shit figured out now, and the world sucks now. But if we don't dream, then we will never get there. So let's dream and explore what it could be, and like explore the problems of today through that lens of what would it look like in a utopian society if we solve these problems, and then dealing with the gritty reality of self-serving capitalist species and other things. Like, it's not like the complexity's gone, it's that we have elevated, and that was the challenge of the writers. Like, the writers had to come up with a conceit to how does utopian society solve these problems, and the individuals being fully fleshed out humans.
Yeah. And how do you create drama and conflict in a utopia?
Right. Well, and that was always Gene Roddenberry. I mean, it's from the memory that I have of the interview from Gene Roddenberry that he never thought that there wouldn't be drama. It's all about the process of solving it.
Right.
And so that's what I loved about Star Trek. And having people like Picard and Janeway, I freaking love Voyager. Like, a lot of people don't like it. That's fine for them. I win because I like it. Winning things is like, when you win, it means you enjoyed it. Half joking, but Janeway was super powerful, strong leader, made mistakes, but kept it strong when you needed her.
She got shit done.
And yeah, it ended in a weird way, and it could have been better, and they rushed it. Like, sure, but the ride was really great. Now we go to the new Star Treks.
So I can comment on that.
Okay, how is well, go ahead comment on it.
If Strange New Worlds is the best Trek in the last 20 years, Picard is the worst.
Okay.
The worst Trek in the last 20 years. Picard, the series, is, I basically just call it missed opportunity, the TV series. They kept introducing all of these concepts that I was like, that's so cool, they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And then they just,
it's like the lead writer wrote down a list, and then
they introduced all this stuff,
yeah.
and then they just flubbed it.
Or maybe the lead writer's responsible for it. I'm not making any statements. I don't know who wrote it. But
your comment on how Disney Star Wars isn't Star Wars based on how you know it. I was so excited when Paramount launched, I think it was CBS something before, and they launched Discovery, and I was really excited for new Trek. And I watch it, and I'm like, this is not Star Trek.
One sec, Janet, thank you for the 23 months. Holy shit, dude. I appreciate that. Pancakes, gotta share them with chat. I already shared it with chat. Like, you kind of missed the boat. I got one bite left. They're really good, though. Make pancakes on mountains. I'm not joking. We're talking about Star Trek right now.
Nerd stuff. Yeah, that's what I do in my downtime.
Yeah. This is Aaron, Athletic Nerd, spelled with a 3 on Instagram. Nerd.
N3RD.
Yes, N3RD. Fellow photographer, we were just here capturing the Perseid meteor shower last night. It was super fun. But now we're talking nerd stuff. So
right. I've been here for a while. I have to do a reintroduction.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually have to pay attention to what time it is. I think I'm still good.
Okay.
So Discovery came out, I watched it, I was excited for it, and I'm like, this is not Star Trek. And it actually took me a couple of seasons to, really understand that I am not the arbiter of what is or isn't Star Trek. I'm not the arbiter of what's good or not. It wasn't Star Trek for me, and that's okay. And then Strange New Worlds came out, and it recaptured the joy and the weirdness that was Star Trek for me.
Okay.
and it's fun and it's goofy and it's got this sense of adventure, and it's just really fun, and that's what I enjoy about it.
Oh, old alarm.
Other things that I do in my downtime. Every once in a while, I'll go to the movies.
Oh.
I enjoy hiking.
Hiking is good. Movies are good. Well, I don't watch movies anymore, unless there's a really good one. We can continue that for a sec. But one last question about Star Trek: does the Strange New World, does that include the utopian, like the utopian writings? What do you call that? Writing mechanism? Like, does it include utopian themes of like how would we solve this?
Yes.
It does.
It takes place immediately before the original series. So they're still in that exploration phase. A little gritty. Where they have the technology to get out there, but it's still exciting and new and unknown, and they're coming up against stuff that they have to figure out. While at the same time figuring out what their utopia actually is, because there's a couple things, a couple episodes in there and some plot points where they're like
the Federation goes into some turmoil, or
like, you're not included in our utopia, and someone says, why not? And then they've got an episode about,
like some commanding officer, maybe not captain, but then it's like that whole social explosion of, we have to figure out this philosophy all over again.
It's the Strange New Worlds version of the Data episode from TNG, where there's a trial to determine if Data's a person or a property.
Okay, you're kind of convincing me to maybe check this out.
So they have an episode where they've got a trial, and they talk about, are you, I don't know, are you legitimate? Are you part of the utopia, or are you, I don't know, illegal? Anyway, I think it captures the absolutely gonzo sense of TOS with the better writing and through line of TNG.
Okay. What's TOS again?
The original series.
Okay, got it.
TNG, The Next Generation.
Okay, that does make sense. I always say original Star Trek. So I don't read that much about the original Star Trek because it's not my least favorite. I kind of fell off at Enterprise, but a lot of people like it, so I'll grant it. I just kind of, I don't like anachronisms, and it was like full of historical anachronism compared to the last stuff. Like, you can do it well, but I feel like they just were trying to wiggle in some writing room, and when it feels forced like that, I just disconnect. So
yeah, and I felt that way when Discovery came out. I'm like, why do you keep going back to this old well to mine, I'm mixing my metaphors, to mine this old material when you could be, looking forward?
Yeah, scared execs who are pissing themselves, which is a cynical view and maybe not the whole story, but
that's fair. I'm going to switch sides so I can tan or burn the other side.
I am going to get my water really quick. I am very thirsty.
Oh, I did have my Gatorade, didn't I?
Also, I think we're disconnected.
Oh, no.
At the moment. Okay, we're back.
I have a good topic on photography.
Yeah.
Are we going?
Well, I think it's overheating, honestly. Why don't I? No, I can't turn it on its side.
Need an umbrella.
I do. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's prop it up even further on an ice box. And then it's got nice cold air.
I can help.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to remove this box and just put it on here?
I want to keep line of sight because of the Wi-Fi. But we might have to move it down. We'll see. Hopefully it doesn't get as windy as it was last night. Okay, so photography.
We talked about this last night. what makes a photograph a photograph? What makes it legitimate? What makes my photography mine? What makes your photography yours?
Yes, and what is valuable?
I've got a ton of different, approaches to this. And one of the things that I am constantly thinking in my photography, I touched on very briefly last night. If there's a whole bunch of us standing around taking pictures of the exact same thing,
Yeah.
what makes my picture of that mine? If I'm standing there and we all take the same picture and I take it back and I do my editing and my post and whatever, what did I do in the act of taking that picture and the act of processing it that puts my thumbprint on it that makes it mine? Or am I just taking the same picture as everybody else? So do you have something that you strive for, that you keep in mind? What do you do to make your photography yours?
That's a good question. I don't think I'm, and this is maybe imposter syndrome, but I don't think I'm developed enough as a photographer to have a good answer that is self-aware and technically, I'll just say it technically aware. I think when I have taken stills in the past, when I just started out, I focused on accuracy. So I was stuck on the old, film photography ideals of like capturing the real life as close as possible.
I want to touch on that when you're done.
Sure. I switched to time lapses because you got to follow what you're interested in. I love dynamism. I love trivialization of time. It's like seeing how the stars move over any time period other than real time is like a secret of the universe. It's like that's actually how they move. You just exist in a pace of time or a relative temporal state that means that you don't get to see that. So we'll capture it anyway, and then it shows people what they can't see. It shows people beyond what they can see. And so I told you my dream is to capture as many and as brilliant and maybe not accurate necessarily, but I want to capture more and more. I want to eventually get a telescope. This might be actually impossible to do a telescope time lapse. It's not, but in I would love to see how the Horsehead Nebula changes. So maybe when I have more time and stability and I've fucked off and lived in a van or something, I might return to the same spot every year to take a picture and try and get the same conditions as possible so that I can take, let's see, 2 minutes, 24 FPS, that's 48 pictures. No, that's 2 seconds.
You can rent time on a telescope.
You can, which I won't get into the logistical problems that come up in my mind for that, but
Can I chime in on your answer?
Sure.
So I asked, what makes your pictures yours? And, you weren't sure about that, but you actually answered it.
Yeah.
You like to show people the passage of time. You like to show people the things that they can't see. That's actually what you're capturing, is your vision, the way that you present it, your time lapses or your photography or your sort of big picture is what you like to capture, is a representation of what you want to share with people that you believe they can't see.
Right.
So that is your vision.
I guess
part of it.
That's true. I would say that probably is. When I think of photographic vision or aesthetic eye, was that Prawn?
No.
Oh, okay.
They were filming.
Prawn came back?
They were filming as they drove by.
That's funny. I think we lost him again. Stream delay is crazy, so I'm going to read chat here in a sec. But the normal thing I think of when I think of what do you bring to a photograph when you take it? I think of like literally everything that everybody else can do. So I'm looking at everything that, your pictures are fantastic and amazing. And I was talking to Prawn last night. I was like, how does he get those pictures? It's like, it's got to be his lens. He's like, well, no. And there's certain things that I have to learn to get like the brilliance in, let's see, one of your photos, the one that you had, you have a photo, is it on your Instagram, the one with 31 satellites?
31 satellites.
31 Starlink satellites in the same damn photo?
I don't remember if it's there. It might be one of those that
Sure.
I thought the resolution doesn't come through and I didn't bother sharing it.
Okay, true, because there's so much in that picture. It was
It's
a
on my
star
website,
field.
though.
Oh, cool. And that's linked in your profile on Instagram.
It's linked in my Instagram, yeah.
Awesome. So on that photo, it's a star field. It's just a mass star field
In Patagonia.
in Patagonia, and it's like a brilliant warm color across the board. The stars themselves are like they're slapping you in the face with how brilliant they are. And then on top of that, there's like layers within it. There's the near field and the what's far field, I guess.
There's the
And then there's the
foreground.
well, there's foreground.
The foreground is the mountains. The subject is the stars.
Yes. Oh, you had, okay, so there's more layers than I was remembering. I didn't even see the mountains when I saw that picture. There's the mountains, and then the satellites, and then the near field stars, and then the long range stars. And like, all of that was captured. And when I take a photo like that, if I was in the same spot, I would venture a guess that I would have to go back to post-processing to even come close to any kind of brilliance like that. Which you may have, and that was my assumption, right? Which is maybe my downfall. But the photos that you took, even of Mount Rainier, before you post-process it, like, there's like a step beyond. And so when I see you doing that kind of stuff, and I see other people doing that kind of stuff, that's what I think of. Like, they're bringing that. Like, they have the skills and knowledge and gear, but mostly skills and knowledge to execute a vision, and capture more than I would be able to. And so that's where I'm like, I just don't have it.
But that comes with practice and time and effort, and you develop your aesthetic over time. It's not like I just dropped in, bought an A7 III, and had this wonderful aesthetic. So one of the things I do is I make a calendar of my photography every year.
Oh, nice.
For friends and family, and in the last couple of years, I started selling them. It's not a pitch.
Sure.
But what's really cool is I have a super simple 12 photograph record of
Your progress?
of my progress over the last dozen years. And year over year over year, I can qualitatively see improvement. Even from last year to this year, I can qualitatively see improvement.
That's a really good point.
And I describe photography as a perishable skill.
Last call?
I don't actually see myself getting around to making it.
Okay.
So
That's-
are you literally throwing it out?
I am.
Well, then I'll take it.
Okay, because I don't think I'll be able to keep it cold enough to keep.
I want to put it somewhere that's not. All right.
Okay.
For now.
Cool. I was just making sure it was in the shade.
So,
I know.
I was thinking of this. I was thinking of this the other day. Actually, it might have been yesterday. If you are not growing, if you are not striving to be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday,
Right.
if you're not striving to improve or, I don't know, be more caring, more kind, whatever, the fuck are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
If you're not trying to be better today than you were yesterday.
Which this is responding to my life. I'm responding with my life experience. The people that aren't doing that are at a certain point in their journey, and they also start at a different place than me. You know, I probably empathize with people too much because of my life history. But I recognize that other people start in a different place. And, you know, I made the conclusion that if I broker peace and I include people and I make them feel as far apart as how I felt when I was in the ditch you know, in no man's land, then that helps. And that actually succeeds in like bringing the peace that I need. And other people make a different decision. They might make aggression is what works for me. And, you know, that has a cost. And
Sure.
that will come home and they'll have to pay that cost at some point. And that's a journey.
And my comment was
Sure.
facetiously judgy.
Sure.
But it's in the vein of, you know, trying to improve
Yes.
and knowing.
And sorry, I get the heart of that comment.
Yeah, and knowing that there is growth to be had.
Growth is how you become you. If you stay the same person and you do not grow, then like there's no signs of life. Like I don't know.
All right, so I'll circle back around to the photography thing. First of all, thank you so much for just the super kind and generous comments on my photography. I also have imposter syndrome. Again, if all of us are standing there taking a picture, you know, what am I really doing different? What am I actually bringing to this? And I don't really know the answer to that. I try to have a vision. I try to have an aesthetic. But I am constantly self-aware of what am I doing? What am I bringing to this?
Yeah.
And I try.
Yeah.
I don't always have that vision or that aesthetic. The 33 satellites picture. I was in Patagonia. I had gone there specifically on a photography trip. We were backpacking, and in addition to all of the backpacking gear, I'm carrying another 20 pounds of photography gear.
Yeah.
And we're out and we're doing the night skies. And I thought that this was a really amazing picture. And I get back and I start processing it. And I see a couple of satellites and I'm like, all right, I can remove these. And then I start counting and there's 33 frickin' satellites in this. And I think that the picture is ruined.
Yeah.
And I just put it away and I don't look at it again for months. And I show it to a friend on the premise that I am lamenting the potential of this good picture was lost because of all of this man-made garbage in the sky. And she says, I actually think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I go back to the original picture and I re-edit it with the eye towards emphasizing the satellites instead of trying to hide them. And I realize how rare it is to actually get 33 satellites. It was an alignment of the moon. The moon was rising behind me. So it was illuminating all of the satellites in the sky on the horizon in front of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, how rare and cool is that? And then I've got this dichotomy of being in this such remote place with this beautiful mountain and this beautiful field of stars and this overlay of human, you know, like we're here and you can't really get away from it. I can't hide the satellites. And I leaned into it and I was like, you know what? This ended up being cooler than I thought, but my knee-jerk reaction was, shit, the picture is ruined.
Yeah.
So I needed somebody else's perspective to actually help me see it.
Which ties into what we were talking about last night about value, and like value can mean so many things to different people. And so just because I don't know that there's anything necessarily to take away from it, but other than, you know, don't be so convinced that something is bad, it could be good. Mm-hmm. Like that's what I take away from it, at least. You know, it just reiterates that there's nuance in the world, and that yes, humans are here, and that may be bad for some reasons. It may be good for others, like existing. You know, everybody deserves to exist, and so, you know, you have to take the bad with the good, and it's a statement of that. And it might make you feel angry. It might make you feel interested. It might make you feel hopeful and inspired by the curiosity of the investment, you know, the technological advancements we've made. Like there's so many different directions you could take it if you spend the time to just think about it a little bit.
We're actually using those satellites to do this live stream right now.
That's actually true.
Another takeaway is that, coming back to that growth, the aesthetic that I'm bringing to something, my eye, my perspective, I have to be open to growing that and broadening it. And I'm looking at it thinking, this is what I wanted. I brought preconceptions to that picture, and I wanted it to be what I wanted it to be. And it wasn't until somebody else shared their opinion that I looked at it from a different perspective and I saw the value. And I get that all the time, especially when I do portrait shoots.
Yeah.
And I'll see something in a portrait shoot and I'm like, I love this. Like your expression and your pose and your light is perfect. And she'll say, I hate my smile in that. I hate the way my nose looks. I hate the cellulose. And I'm like, I didn't even see that. But then she shows me a picture from the shoot that she loved. And I'm looking at it and I was like, I was going for something different with that picture and I didn't get it, and therefore I don't like it. She wasn't coming at it with the same preconception, so she's just looking at it and saying, I love this picture. And I take a step back and I look at it from her point of view and I'm like, I see the value in it.
Yeah.
So like, that is also part of the growth of learning to broaden my horizons, and especially trying to remember to set my preconceptions aside.
Yeah. That honestly, I wouldn't say a manifesto, but it's like there are certain things that I've learned in my life that I want to share with others. One of them is that working with people is a hell of a lot better than the alternative, like any of the other alternatives, unless, protect yourself and be safe. So like, don't be stupid and follow this to the nines. But when you realize that two people have two totally different ideas of what is valuable to them, and the questions that they ask of the thing and the subject in front of them to determine whether or not, or determine their reaction to it, those things are totally different. And you can't know what those are until you talk to them. And so before you go and judge a situation, a friend comes at you a little aggressively or says something a little passive aggressively, ask first. It might be okay.
Don't make assumptions. Don't make preconceptions.
Sometimes you have to make assumptions. Like sometimes assumptions keep you safe, but assumptions hide the truth. Sometimes it's hard to talk about nuance without saying nothing. But it's assumptions can hide those things from you, and so it's, in my opinion, it has served me so well to be curious and inquire and ask questions like, hey, what did you mean by that? Hey, what's going on? Is there something bothering you? Doesn't even mean me. Like, it's not like I might not have done something. She might, or they.
It very likely has nothing to do with us.
Yes. And once they come out with that, then you can understand, oh, this isn't the dynamic I thought it was. Let's figure out this problem together, or let's validate their feelings or whatever they're talking about. If you come at it with, this person's yelling at me, or this person's talking to me in a way that I know in my history is like dangerous or a threat or whatever smaller, less, of an issue kind of thing. If it confrontational or whatever, you make that assumption and then you respond, and then suddenly you've done something to, you respond in kind, you give and take, you return what you get. And then she's like, oh, say she. I'm like thinking of a very specific situation, so I'm going to stop. It's not just she, it's all of them, everybody. But yeah, it's worth finding out.
Yeah, a friend of mine shared something last night that was, she writes, quote, I hear you. I understand that what I said upset you, and I would like to talk through it. And I was like, that's a really good place to start.
Yeah.
There was something else that you said that I wanted to key off of, and I also lost it.
Maybe we'll find it.
Maybe we'll find it.
Let's check in with chat. It's been a while. I know, I apologize. We've been having a very interesting conversation. I want
I know what it was.
I want some bacon pancakes. I'll take some. Thank you, Naked Racing. Go for it. They're all yours. I got Kibinakaisi. Kibinakais? Is that... Oh, we lost connection. Scheiße. Okay, we're back. We're back. The photography talk kind of reminds me of a philosophical matter, the ship of Theseus. Like, if your edits on the original image and replace elements that make the image unique or duplicated the image afterwards, is the original image still unique, or are all duplicated the originals, and therefore the original is no longer unique?
May I?
Sure. I think we're probably going to say the same thing, but go for it.
So I was talking to Clint about this last night, and there are so many layers to that. I've never actually thought of it as the ship of Theseus analogy, but so I sell my photography, and one of the top questions I get is that what it really looked like? And sometimes the question is, hey, I want to go to that place and I want to know if I'm going to see that. And that's cool. That's a very, legitimate and straightforward question. But more often than not, they're asking an underlying question, and the underlying question is, did you manipulate this at all?
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's in regards to my night sky stuff. Is that what it really looks like? And they want to know if I added something, if I photoshopped something, if I manipulated the image in some way that will make them think, within their own unique opinion, that it is no longer a genuine photograph. And the short answer is always, no, that's not what it looked like, because the camera sees something different than we do.
Yes.
So it's never going to look like what it looked like to me. In addition, I bring my own edits to it. I emphasize some colors, de-emphasize others. I like to push contrast. I like poppy color. So the ship of Theseus, the ship never actually existed, really. It was always an idea, but not a real thing, because the photograph that I am delivering, I shoot raw. It's pure data. The picture never looks any good unless I put my thumbprint on it.
Yeah.
I have to edit it. I have to bring out the color, bring out the contrast, play with highlights, play with shadows. And once I'm done with it, it's my picture. If I gave the exact same picture to Clint in RAW and said, you edit it, he'll come out with a very different picture. Even how you crop it ends up changing the look of it. Mm-hmm. And the crop can change the whole feel of a picture.
Yeah.
Then we go into the next layer of actually adding stuff. Am I adding sky to it? Am I adding people?
Before we go there, the way that I look at it is, especially because of how the tooling works, like even with film photography, physical chemical photography, you don't actually get what the camera takes. You have to develop that, right? You have to go immerse it in two or three different types of chemicals. I think it's 2.
Depends on color or black and white.
True. Yes. Thank you. And it takes the negatives, which is how the camera sees it, and turns it into the actual picture. And then even then, you have so many controls, exposure, aperture, shutter time, like all of these things that existed on oh, I think we have a lag of like 10 minutes. You have all these controls that as a photographer in a technical, an executor of a technical skill, you can manipulate to produce something. So when you talk about, like, I think the common misconception is that photography is by default a reproduction of reality.
I want to come back to that.
Sure. And it's not, and it can't be. I mean, there are techniques that can use to get just as close as possible to how you see it with the naked eye. On stars, that's going to be real boring. On clouds, that actually could be okay. But certain things, like there's so much complexity to it and so much like different like situations where it, like some things will never, like when you take a picture of fog and smoke and the moon and, you know, all these things, you're never going to get it how the eye looks, because we have like our brain does stuff between the images, the stuff, the visual information that we're getting into our eyeballs. Your brain, like supermoons don't, they're not actually that much closer. Like it's a matter of percentage.
And even then, you know, how do you see color versus me?
Yeah.
You know, are we on a spectrum of color blindness? I wear glasses, so the world is either, you know, less in focus or more in focus.
Right, smudges and stuff. So the and that's, we're getting, it might seem kind of pedantic to get down to that level. It's, oh, everybody experiences reality differently, but no, it's true. And so when it comes to reproducing a facsimile of real life, that doesn't really exist. And so what that has to mean is photography is a work of art. Like we make choices that produce a work that is considered good by other people, considered good by us, or considered bad by other people and considered bad by us. It's really down to those choices, you know, and how it lands with people. And so when it comes to manipulating images and like, even with digital, you now have raw, which is the camera can see a hell of a lot more than we do. All of that raw data then has to be processed and developed in a digital context to actually bring out the data and show what's there. So it hasn't really changed from from film to digital in that. Now we talk about AI and adding stuff. Now we're right back.
But they, you know, you could actually do that in film as well. You could add and remove stuff.
Oh, true.
Dodge and burn. Even down to the choice of film type changes. I love shooting on Ektar 100, but Ektar 100 film leans towards teals and oranges, which is what I like about it, because it comes out with this hyper colorful, hyper real look. But coming back to, you know, all photography is art. How are we doing?
We're good. I think there was a conversation about what we're talking about now, which we can circle back once you finish your point.
So when I teach photography, I am teaching my views and my skills. I never espouse that this is my opinion. This is my interpretation. I teach my students that there are two kinds of photography. You could probably break it down more, you could probably have nuances to that, but when I teach it, I say there's two types of photography. There's documentation, and then there's artistic, and they do overlap. But documentation photography is when I come into a national park and I take a picture of myself in front of the national park sign. I'm not trying for high art. I'm documenting the fact that I was here. This is representative of a moment. What you're seeing on the live stream right now is more or less documentation video. You know, we exist, we're in this space, we're not doing anything fancy. WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And I tell the people that I'm working with, that I'm doing workshops with, what are you going for? When you're taking that picture, are you going for something that is a documentation, or are you going for artistic? Are you capturing what is, or are you capturing how you see it or how you want to see it? And there's a lot of overlap. When I was in Yellowstone, I was taking a bunch of pictures of bison.
Yeah.
And I'm getting down really close, and I've got a super long lens, and I've got this bison in portrait, and it just fills the frame. It's very documentation style, because that is a bison and that's what they look like. And then it's also artistic, because the way that I filled the frame, what I chose for the lighting, what I choose for my edits afterwards, you know, maybe I push the contrast a little bit,
Yeah.
Draw out some of the shadows. I can't actually do both at the same time, but
Right.
you know, I've made that documentation aspect also a little artistic.
Yeah.
In our Perseids last night, I'm taking a picture of a very large piece of sky, and over here I get a streak of a meteor. Do I want documentation style? Hey, this is the whole picture I got, and over here there's this really cool bright meteor. Or in my crop, I bring it down and I focus on the meteor, and maybe I go in and I push the saturation of it a little bit and you see more of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And now I've taken it from a documentation, hey, a meteor happened, to here's an artistic slice of what happened.
It's presentation of art.
And so when you're taking a picture, if you're going for documentation, and even then within a documentation, there's still room for artistic expression. Right. Like in portraiture, I'm capturing a person, but I'm capturing, you know, either the best version or an emotion or a story.
Yeah.
So that's how I break it out. You know, are you going for representative, this is what it is, or are you going for something that is not quite representative?
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's catch up on chat real quick.
And I'm going to put a little bit of a timer on this and say I've got another 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, awesome. I think I gotta end stream at that point anyway, because I have to use the restroom, and I have that the whole time. Okay, so at that point, you kind of start asking, what is art in photography? Exactly what we were talking about. No Face is on the same wavelength. There are different opinions and of what is okay to be altered and what photography is dishonest when edited. But everybody has their own opinion. I think that's a good take as well. Dishonesty is... I have Beholder. There's also like factual problems with it, because if you need documentation stuff and then an artistic liberty was taken, then there could be a problem. But like dishonesty in like presentation of art, I think is maybe the wrong way to look at it.
There was a picture going around the internet a while back of a picture of a kid laying down with a boot on his neck. And it's cropped in really tight, and it's a picture of this kid, you know, being subjugated with a boot on his neck. Yeah. But then you go to the whole crop, and it's the kid holding the boot himself. So even just in your crop, you can change the whole story.
Yeah.
Opinion. You have to bring your own opinion to it, or else what are you bringing? And dishonesty we talked about last night. I think if you add a lot to it and you add AI and you start manipulating the image,
and then you pass it off as representative.
If you pass it off as representative, that's dishonest.
Yes.
If you, this is where I start to get a little into my opinion. There is a point, in my opinion, where it stops being a photograph and becomes digital art. If you do, like, I've seen pictures of people who have overlaid the Milky Way over my home city of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You can't take that picture, that doesn't exist. It will never exist.
Yeah.
That's
too close to the equator to have that, you know, that band of Milky Way available to you in that framing, and
you'll never get it at that angle, at that framing, with that light pollution, at that time of year, etc.
It's a very pretty picture and a good background.
It's a great piece of digital art. It is not a photograph.
Yes, and I think photograph versus picture or photograph versus image might sound like splitting hairs, but I think it really is like the line of representative and art.
And even then you get into nuance. My own personal opinion, and this is what you have to bring to your photography, is you have to come up with your morality and your baseline and what you're willing to accept.
What lines do you cross, or what lines do you not have?
So last night as I was editing my pictures, I went through and I removed a bunch of satellites.
Yeah.
I will remove stuff, and I will remove stuff to a certain degree. I don't add anything. I don't use Photoshop to put anything in. But even then, at what point does removal start to become, you know, if I go in and I use AI to remove that van from a picture, I'm kind of okay with that. But if I go in and I use AI to remove a whole mountain, you know, it's not really the picture I took anymore, but that's my own, you know, where do I even draw that line?
Yeah. Personally, I don't mind that people edit images and enhance the art, but it is somewhat different if, say, like a Mona Lisa were edited compared to a selfie today. Back then, they didn't have the undo button, and that was the beauty of that art, that mistakes were allowed to be part of the art when that happens.
I disagree. They did
Really?
have an undo button. People painted over canvases all the time.
True, true. And they actually physically wiped off and then repainted sections. If you go, actually, I don't know, not that I'm, whatever, I'll plug it. There's a art restoration YouTube channel that my wife and I watch. It's Tenenbaum Restorations, and he actually works on, like, he's been doing it. He's a craftsman, basically. He's been doing this for a long time. He explains everything that he's doing. He explains the reversible techniques that he uses, and then he goes over the old techniques, and he goes over if those were reversible, and then he kind of like tells a story about the history of that art piece and like what happened. You can tell he goes into detail, like there was a paint over, or I forget what it's called, but somebody overpainted this, and let's find out what they were trying to hide. And it's like, oh, well, there was damage to this painting, or oh, there was a different subject in the painting. Like, I forget, there was a piece that was recently found through X-ray photography that there was like a woman being stabbed or something in a photo, but they painted it over it for her to be like a subject of the person in power or whatever. So it was like completely different painting before they overpainted it.
This is, I'm an unreliable narrator in some regards. Wasn't there something in the Mona Lisa where they x-rayed it and they found like her hands were in a different position, or there was something else in the picture that ended up different in the final presentation?
Yeah, which is not to say like you're wrong, Janet, but I think that it still applies. Like, at least I think our opinions, as we've explained it, may still apply to that situation.
And it comes back to the artist brings their interpretation.
Yeah. As a wedding photographer, I always got the opposite. Can you make it look like X? And my answer was always some version of, I may not be the photographer for you. Which is perfectly reasonable, as long, you know, if that's like part of the communication of the job. I have other photographer friends who have been professional photographers for a time, and either they left or some of them are still doing it. And it's like that's like part of the business, like communicating and client.
Setting expectations is key in every aspect of life.
That's actually a good point. These are really interesting points. I'm taking notes down. I don't understand much of philosophy since I prefer to draw, which is another art medium, but I can see what you mean. And I think it's, yeah. Cool. Just curious, but would a reset help on the delay of the stream? Unfortunately, it would, but the delay would come back, unfortunately. You should upload this and call it a podcast. Honestly, I am considering breaking different parts of it up and putting it on the YouTube channel.
I really hope you will, because I would love to link to it.
Okay. Sure. Absolutely. I can't guarantee that I will. There are various stresses and capabilities that contribute to whether I put out a video or not. But honestly, editing it might help me get back into the swing of things, given the things I've been dealing with for the last year and a half.
From my own personal point of view, I've really enjoyed this. I've enjoyed the talk. Yeah. I've enjoyed, you know, putting this up on the stream, and I would love to share this with my audience.
Absolutely. I will definitely reach out to you if I do. I can give you a link to the Twitch VOD, but they're only available for 60 days. Okay. So if you want to cut it up yourself.
I am absolute garbage at video editing.
Sure. Well, if there's like a specific clip that you're like, oh, I like that conversation. Okay. Feel free to take it. You can either Twitch clip it or download it. I don't mind. But
thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk about all that offline.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, I think I need to shut this down and go use the restroom because I had to use the restroom when I got up, and I haven't been off this sunrise point.
Oof.
So thanks everybody. The bacon pancakes were amazing. No Face, thank you for making me do this. And I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation and the location. You can't really see Mount Rainier right now because of the smoke.
Cloud, actually.
Yeah, you're right. It's a cloud. But yeah.
Can I give one more plug?
Sure, go for it.
So depending on when you came in or the length of your memory, hi, I'm Aaron. I'm living #van life right now. Yesterday was my 100th day on the road. I am doing semi-regular video updates on Instagram. Instagram is Athletic Nerd, spelled N3RD.
Yep.
In there is also a link to my website, and I'm posting weekly blog updates of where I've been, what I've seen, and most importantly, my photography.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out any of that, please do. If you want to reach out and say hi to me through my Instagram is probably the best way to do that. And lastly, thank you all very much for listening to me drone on and share my opinions. And for you, this was really fun to do, and
Yeah,
I
thanks
enjoy chatting.
Thanks for dropping in. I saw your van pull in. I was like, he can have a pancake if he wants one. And we got more than that. So no, I really appreciated the conversation. And I am going to hang out on stream just a few seconds. If you're watching this VOD, then you don't have to watch the rest, but I'm just going to hang out for a second until the stream delay catches up so I don't cut people off before the conversation's done. We're talking about painting still in my ear. I forgot that it could undo the art as undo. I'm dumb. No, it's like that perception. And now I'm talking about new stuff, so I'm going to have to wait until that's done. I should stop talking about this, but that perception is what contributes to the common or majority view of photography, is that like both either a lack of remembering or a lack of understanding about the technicals of it means that you perceive things through a different lens, and then what seems dishonest to you is maybe just how it works. But then there's plenty of people that are also not being forthright and malicious. So it's like, it is what it is. Just if you're worried about it, ask questions like you did.
And take it all with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, man.
Cool. Sweet. Well, I will DM you a link to that Twitch VOD.
All right, I'm actually going to go grab you one of my business cards.
Sure, absolutely. We can keep in touch. Thank you for being friendly. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is what I live for on the road. Absolutely, this is what I live for on the road. Are these interactions and the experiences and meeting new people and discovering new things.
Yeah.
This is literally what I live for.
We're in sync. that is like how I enjoy life. And I'm working through reasons why I can't do that, which are not technically true. Yeah. ADHD is a bitch. I would not recommend it. That's like one of the things is, normally you get diagnosed, especially as a boy, as male presenting, whatever, as a kid. And I did not. And when you get missed, then you interact with society in a really different way, and people have different expectations of you. Not that people don't judge ADHD boys according to the social norm, but like, you end up twisting and contorting to like meet the standard that everybody expects of you. And then that your neural pathways reinforce as you do that, and the longer it takes for you to get diagnosed, the harder it is to form new neural pathways. And it's like retraining your left hand with your left hand, or your non-dominant hand. It's a piece of shit. I hate it.
You can look back at all of the missed opportunity, and you can look forward to now being able to move forward with this new understanding and your more accurate way of interacting with the world, your more genuine way of interacting with the world.
What I'm about to say I was going to save for a video, which I guess not everybody's going to watch this, but I want to make a video like, here's how I didn't know I had ADHD, and here's all the things I did to hide from the feds or whatever. Like, the thing is, I don't actually look back at the missed opportunity because I enjoyed the life that I've had so far. Like, it's one of the reasons, because I have depression, which I can explain a little bit more about. I feel like I just TMI'd, but the ADHD shit that I'm talking about has resulted in depression. It's like an overloading, a burnout of the nervous system. There's more, like, depression isn't fully understood, but from the best science right now, it's understood that it is, like, some of the pathways towards depression can be from sensory and nervous system overload. So I appreciate your encouragement, and I think I'm going to think about that a little bit, about the new lens through which to view the world.
New lens.
Photographer at heart. The part that is frustrating is that I've only gotten this far through mechanisms and information systems, like information gathering. Like, one of the things that I do, if I say it in a clinical way, is managing other people's emotions. It causes social anxiety because I don't know what to expect from people. And also, there's this thing in ADHD called rejection sensitivity dysphoria, which is not...
I'm familiar.
Okay. So it is...
may not be that.
Sure. Rejection sensitivity dysphoria is, very bluntly put, being heavily impacted by things that other people... by like, not being wanted, not being, like, just being turned away. Just like, anytime somebody reacts to you in a negative way, it just cuts you so much deeper. And it hurts you in a way that your brain actually wants to respond at a biological level in a way to prevent that. And, like, emotionally and intellectually, it hurts. And so, like, if you're a logical, rational person, which I considered myself to be, you know, all my life, as a person who loves to learn and cares about science and evidence and making logical statements and making actions based on evidence, like, the logical thing would be to prevent that, right? But there's some danger to that. And the danger to that, in my case, was if you work to prevent the negative thing from happening and feeling the impact of that negative thing, then you can do things that maybe cross your boundaries or dissolve them and maybe erode your sense of self. If somebody abuses you, and let's bring it back so it's not so heavy. If somebody, like, is rude to you and is taking advantage of you, or, like, asking things of you that you don't want to give, if you're a socially anxious person who is a people pleaser, or at least has a keen sensitivity to wanting to meet other people's needs so that they're not impacting you, you're going to want to reciprocate or respond to their prompting, right? And that's not good for you. Now, logical